You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. Everyone is at different stages in their business. Some people are just wannapreneurs. They want to start something, but they don't know how to start it. Other people are in the startup phase. Others are in the scale it phase, the scaling, building the business up to a point that you can grow and expand. And we just had a guest on who is talking about the final stage of that business, selling it, if you're ready to make that existential leap. So we have listeners who are at all different stages of business. And so it's really helpful, I think, to bring in people who have already been there and done that so that you can get the motivation that you need to build the business you need so you can live the life that you want and do it in a way that makes sense and do it in a way that works for you so that you don't destroy yourself in the process. So today's expert is a master in a couple of things. First, she is a master at nutritious eating and healthy meals, creating healthy meals. And the other thing is that she has successfully turned that into a profitable, growing business. So I'm speaking today with Hayley Sohn. She is the owner and founder of Basically It Meals, a St. Louis-based healthy meal delivery service. After receiving her degree in nutrition and exercise physiology and working in a corporate position, Hayley built a side business cooking healthy meals. She turned this into her full-time gig in 2018, and so she knows the ins and outs of building a small business from scratch. Now get this. In her first year, she built a 7-employee company and 18 times her revenue. I mean, that's incredible for the first year of business. So we want to find out how she did it. Hayley Sohn, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Very impressed with your background, your credentials, and the success that you have had right off the bat. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started? What got you interested in nutrition and exercise physiology?
Well, thank you. So I, was at college and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Took one of those intro courses to nutrition and it just stuck. I was absolutely obsessed with it and seeing the issues that our nation is currently facing as far as nutrition and eating habits and weight. It was like, this is where I can really have an impact and help and change people's lives.
I love that. And that's where it all begins. How do we create transformation and deliver value to people? And there is always a market for that. We were talking off air before we got started about you never run out of customers in a business like this. Yeah. It's just a matter of reaching them with the tools and the information and the products and services that they need to be healthy. So the name of your brand, the name of your website is basicallyitmeals.com. How did you come up with that name? What's the story behind the brand?
I get asked that all the time. I wish there was a better story, but it's kind of something that my generation says a lot. Oh, and that's basically it. And that's basically it. And I kept saying it. Well, it's healthy meals and that's basically it. We deliver it to you and that's basically it. And it just I was like, what if it's just basically it? We cook for you and that's basically it. It's healthy and that's basically it. It's delivered to you and that's basically it. And so, yeah, that just stuck.
What a lesson in simplicity. right? You didn't need
exactly.
You didn't need a fancy copywriter or a highly overpaid marketing strategist to figure that out. You're just like, well, this is what we do, and that's basically it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I did waste quite a bit of my own time trying to think of a clever name, a good name. And it was like, I can always change it later. Let's just go with this.
I love that. Because, that's one key to success right there. And, whether, you realize it or not, you just dropped a pearl of wisdom on the audience. So many people, they get caught up in what my logo looks like, the colors on my website, what about my branding, blah, blah, blah. Look, just pick something and go with it, because ultimately what people are buying is not your logo and not your name. They're buying some value that you're creating. Tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you help the people that you help.
Yeah, so we do healthy, delicious, delivered meals. So everything is individually portioned. It is cooked and ready to eat. All you have to do is heat it up or just eat it as is. And we take it to your door. So the whole goal of this, when I first started, was to make it as convenient as a drive-through. Like, there is no reason that you have any excuse at this point to get a healthy meal in your stomach. We are going to make it so simple and take it right to you, so you don't have to do anything.
See, once again, appealing to simplicity. This is basically it. We cook it, we deliver it, you eat it, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's basically it.
That's basically it. It's kind of catchy. I like that. I mean, it's really catchy.
Thank you so much.
I mean, the genius is in the simplicity of what you're communicating.
And like you said before, you just have to get started. You cannot dwell on the details. There's no money to be made there. You just got to get going.
Yeah. Now the logistics of this, to be able to cook meals for people and deliver them, I mean, you've got to have like a physical place, right? You've got a kitchen someplace, right?
We do. I started out of my house, but that's when it was a side hustle and I was still working my corporate job. When I decided to take it full time, I got a commissary kitchen, which is like a rentable licensed space. And since you're renting, you're sharing it with other people, but we rent time there every week. It's a commercial kitchen, so it's got all the big, huge equipment that we need. And it's, cleared with the health department and all of that. So
interesting. So, and then you went from basically yourself to an employee or a company with 7 employees. Most people would kind of freak out at that. How did you deal with that?
There have been so many moments of freak out in this whole journey, but it's about just being okay with being scared and doing it anyways. Again, like, the details might be really scary, and it's scary to think about how you're going to build this company. And if somebody would have said to me, you're going to have 7 employees, I'd have been like, oh my God, what, like, I have no idea. I was freaked out, but you just have to take it one step at a time. So the first thing I did when I decided to take this full time as a business was hire a chef. I have a degree in nutrition. I am not an expert in the kitchen as far as scaling food and making sure that recipes are to scale and executing in the kitchen. So I brought on a chef and we started working together. And, the funny thing is, like, getting to 7 employees, I've gone through so many more than that. So a huge part of it was finding the right people too.
Yeah, it's finding the right 7, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I did go through a couple chefs before I found the right one. And we brought on a second chef, and then we brought on a kitchen manager, and then we brought on a dishwasher. And so we have a fully staffed kitchen now. And honestly, like I was saying before, if someone would have said you're going to have 7 employees, I would have been like, holy, that's terrifying. But when you just build it as needed, it makes sense and it isn't scary. You're looking for the right person to fit the position that you need to be filled. And that's never scary.
Yeah, that's definitely in the scale level of business where you're past the startup. You rapidly scaled up to 7 employees, 18 times your revenue in the first year. where do you get your customers from? I mean, with people want to know, well, what's your marketing? What's your advertising? How do you get the word out? Because if you're growing that fast, you must be doing something right in your marketing.
Right. So, I don't have a degree in business or a background in business. So when I first started, I kind of went through my family, my friends. The business started with coworkers. So I'd gone through most of the people that I knew, or most of like the people I could reach with an extended arm. And I was like, it was going great for a while. And then once I ran out of them, I was like, well, what do we do now? Like, where do we go from here? So I really started with what I was already doing and what I already knew, which was social media. I love doing video, like live video. So I started doing a Facebook Live every week and just talking about nutrition and seeing if I could help people. And that kind of caught on. That got a little bit. It got pretty popular in my Facebook community and brought a lot of awareness to my business. And that brought in a ton of customers. Still to this day, I do that Facebook Live every week. And we have probably over 50% of our clientele comes from Facebook, which is crazy. Yeah. And then after that, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So after that, I started looking into local media. People don't really realize this, but most of the news outlets, local papers and magazines, they're looking for content. They want to know about what's going on in their community, especially with small businesses. And so if you reach out to them, you're not burdening them. They want to feature you and write about you and talk about you because it's content for them. So I started reaching out to local media, and that was another like huge avenue for us. I am now a regular on one of the morning shows here in St. Louis. I'm on at least once a month doing like a cooking demo. And people are always like, how do you get on that? How much do you pay to be on the show? I was like, you guys, it's free. Just go to their website. They have a form that you can fill out and like get on the show.
And that's basically it.
And that's basically it. It really is that simple. It's just that most of us are too afraid to kind of like go that route. We don't want to get turned down or we kind of have that like imposter syndrome, but it really is simple, and your local media is looking for content, and they definitely want to feature you if you're doing something new or fun or interesting.
That is once again, you're dropping all of these pearls of wisdom for us. So the first takeaway is keep it simple, right?
Yes,
so we've
absolutely.
covered that, and simplicity really is the foundation of everything you're doing here. Don't overthink it. Just keep it simple and get it done. And the second thing is start with what you know. If you know how to do social media, if you enjoy social media, then do social media. Don't go out and spend money on advertising and things that you don't know, that you don't understand, that's not fun. You don't have to do all of these different activities, 50 things that you need to do to market yourself today. Hayley started out just doing Facebook Lives, and that one marketing activity that she enjoyed and that she already knew something about allowed her to grow her business. And then taking the next logical step, local media, because you're delivering meals in the St. Louis area. So it's a very local market. It's not cost effective for you to deliver meals that far outside. So it's a very targeted audience, and you are pursuing these local media opportunities to keep it focused and keep it simple and be able to reach the people that are going to be your ideal prospects.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we take a step back and think about people listening to this right now, and they're struggling to grow their business beyond the startup phase, and they believe that they would love to scale their business, but they don't know how to go about it. We've already touched on a few principles, but from a mindset perspective, what is the biggest challenge that you have had besides the freak out factor, which I think anybody would be freaked out for that kind of rapid growth? Most people are freaked out for the opposite reason. They can't find customers. They can't make the sale. But you've touched on some mindset work that we all need to do as business owners and entrepreneurs, especially startups. What is something that we need to begin doing and thinking to maybe duplicate the success that you have had, but in our own way, in our own business? What suggestions do you have for our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest places that I find myself getting stuck on a regular basis is telling myself exactly like you said, I don't know. I don't know where to get customers. I don't know how. I don't know what to do next. And the thing is, when you tell yourself that, you stick yourself right where you are, or you go backwards, So you have to stop telling yourself that you don't know, and start journaling. So this is what I do when I hear myself saying, I don't know, I write down, but if I did know, if I could figure it out, what would I be doing? And I just start writing down ideas. And a lot of times it's stuff I'm already doing, but I might just have less inspiration in that area. And suddenly now with kind of opening that up, like, okay, I've been doing social media, but lately my posts have been really boring or not engaging or not helpful. So what could I do to make that better? And all of a sudden I'll have an influx of sales. So just constantly asking myself, if I did know what the next best step was, what would that be? And I always know. Everyone always knows. We just block ourselves when we freak out, oh my God, I haven't made a sale in 2 weeks. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do next. And we get stuck there. And so we just have to start right where we are. It's okay that I haven't made a sale in 2 weeks. Let's figure out what the next best step is. What can I do next? And if I did know exactly what to do, what would it be? And just start writing, and the ideas are going to come to you like crazy. It is the best thing you can ever do.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is, if we want a better answer, we have to start asking better questions.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, exactly.
I love that. You are working on some very exciting things. You are you're growing and expanding your local business, but you are also breaking into a new market. Tell us a little bit about those projects that you're working on.
Yeah. So now that the meal service is kind of steady, I'm broadening a passion project I've had for a long time. So I love the teaching people, kind of the teaching aspect, which is where I started in my nutrition career. I just haven't done that in the meal service. We're just giving it to people. So really broadening like the teaching, coaching aspect of my business, which is going to be online in the form of courses and a membership site called the No Diet Diet Club. And that kind of allows us access to, a worldwide audience as opposed to one that's limited to my city. Yeah. And it allows me to kind of explore different avenues as far as like other sources of revenue. So we're going to launch the membership site, see how that goes. That'll be like a rollover payment kind of thing. We're going to launch some courses. So those will be like a one-time purchase, but set those up on Facebook ad funnels. So, it's renewing revenue. And I'm just really excited to see how we can kind of generate revenue in other areas and how that's all going to play out together with itself, I guess.
Very exciting. Very exciting. So if I take everything that you have shared and were to sum it up into three things, as I said, first, you kept it simple. You didn't get bogged down in the details. You just made a decision and you moved forward. And I think that is a huge lesson for people who tend to be consumed with analysis paralysis. They've got this complicated business plan that never gets acted upon because they're trying to do it all on paper. And I think a lot of that is avoiding taking the risk of actually putting yourself out there. It's safe to sit here and plan everything on paper and never take any action, but you'll also never make any money. You'll never reach anyone with your message or with your transformative service. You'll never help anybody.
You won't ever help anyone. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we all want to do ultimately. So
absolutely. So you kept it simple. Secondly, you started with what you knew. And when you got to something that you didn't think that you knew, you turn that around with a better question. If I did know, what would I be doing? Let's pretend exactly. I did know. What would I be doing? And wow, it's amazing all the ideas that come by just asking yourself a more empowering question. And then what I really like about what you've done, Hayley, is you didn't just sit back and say, well, I've got this great company with 7 employees. We're reaching people in St. Louis, and I'm just kind of content to leave it at that. You have actually now gotten to a place where you can scale, and because it's not about the food, it's about the transformation in people's health. And that is a universal and global thing. Everyone everywhere benefits from that. But this way you're reaching people far beyond St. Louis, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. How can our listeners connect with you, find out more about Basically It Meals and more about your online nutrition membership site and the No Diet Club that is coming soon?
Yeah. So the website is a great place to kind of see about the meal service. That's basicallyitmeals.com. And then there's also a tab there at the top that says No Diet Club. You can check out that. And then I would love to connect with anyone and everyone on Facebook. So that's at Basically It Meals. And it's,
that's basically it.
That's the place. That's basically it. Yeah. And I'm still doing my lives every week. So come on, say hi. It's Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Central.
Very cool. And the other thing I'm impressed with a lot of things about you, Hayley. But what I really think is impressive is you're still doing those Facebook Lives. It wasn't just a thing to get you to a certain place, and now you're done with that and you move on. And that's where a lot of people, I think, also they make the mistake. They do something to get to a certain place, and then it works, and then they stop doing it and they start doing something else. It's like, oh, that's working, so let me quit doing that. No, keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So that's, even though you've already achieved a certain level of success, you're still doing the basic things you started out doing that got you to where you are. So I'm just highly impressed with that. And I think there's lots of lessons that Rebelpreneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs can take away from this conversation. And I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. Any final thoughts or motivating quotes or anything you would like to leave us with as we bring our time to a close?
So, final thought, we all have one big goal for our future that we're working towards, but a lot of us don't realize that we might be taking absolutely no action towards that. So we're just it's out there in our future and we hope that it's going to happen. So one thing I've been doing lately is just asking myself, if I was taking one action towards that big goal today, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be anything big, having an extra glass of water or making sure I go to bed at 9 p.m. Whatever it is, what is one small step you can take today to get you towards that big goal?
Excellent, excellent. Words of wisdom from Hayley Sohn. She is the owner and founder of Basically It Meals, a St. Louis-based healthy meal delivery service. And she is also the founder and creator of the No Diet Club. So wherever you are in the world, you can check her out at basicallyitmeals.com. And we'll have that link on the Rebelpreneur website as well. Hayley, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you. Thank you so much for your time. And I wish you every success as you continue to do what you love and do what you are best at.
Well, thank you, Ralph. Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.